Hi, this is Javier Tello with the Tello Group. If you are thinking about moving to the Houston metropolitan area, there's a few things that you need to know, pros and cons, and here are some of them. Everything is bigger in Texas, and it's even bigger in Houston, and that includes the potholes, the roaches, and the mosquitoes the size of a dragonfly. Are you ready to hear some tips? First pro tip is the diversity. Houston is a very diverse city where you find people from Asia, the Middle East, Europe, Mexico, Central and South America. The beauty of it is that you can learn from different cultures in one city and you can get a lot of new ideas. And you will see this diversity on the Houston cuisine, which leads me to my second point, food haven. Within the Houston city limits and Harris County, you will find a melting pot of cuisines. So if you're thinking about moving to Houston and you love food, Houston is the place for you to live in. Pro tip number 3, sports. In Houston, you can tailgate all year round because Houston hosts pretty much every major sports, including the NFL, Major League Baseball, MLS, and also D1 Division College with the Houston Cougars. So if you are a sports fanatic, you will have plenty of reasons to tailgate all year round and enjoy sports. Pro tip number 4, the Houston housing market. The Houston housing market is one of the lowest when it comes to the average nationwide. You still find a 3,000 square feet home for under $450,000 when the same price can cost you over $1 million in California or probably $2 million in New York. So the Houston housing market, it is one of the strongest in the nation. Whether you're renting or buying, Houston is the place to be. Well, those are 4 pros of why you need to move to Houston, but you need to hear some of the cons, and those are cons that you may not hear somewhere else. Con tip number 1, lack of public transportation. If you're moving to Houston, you need to own a car because the Houston public transportation it sucks, basically. So if you want to move from point A to point B within Houston, be prepared to spend 30-40 minutes driving. Now, that being said, the lack of public transportation, because everybody owns a car in Houston, it creates traffic. You better be prepared to spend hours in your car because most drivers slow down to a mere 5 miles per hour. You know why? For no freaking reason. So be prepared to stay in your car for a while. So that, and top of the top holes, makes Houston traffic and the lack of transportation one of the cons about moving to Houston. Tip number 2 on the cons about moving to Houston. Houston has an average humidity of 75% any given year. During the summer, our temperatures can rise all the way to upper 90s and it'll feel like we're on the low 100s. It's muggy and sticky. You also, remember I mentioned on the pros that everything is bigger in Houston. The mosquitoes, the size of a dragonfly, they come in masses. So humidity, mosquitoes, you need to be prepared. Now, on the good side is that we Houstonians during the summer, we'd rather take that heat and humidity. It's a good trade for our temperatures during the winter, where probably during the winter, the temperature ranges on the low 60s. So that's a good trade. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 on the cons of why moving to Houston is our storms and flooding. You need to know that summers in Houston are amazing. You can be at the park having a picnic with your family, and then by 3:30, 4 o'clock, all hell breaks loose. You get a nice summer storm, and it'll ruin your picnic. It'll bring the mosquitoes and the humidity, and that's something that you may never get used to it. Flooding, I included within this same number 3 because when it rains, it rains. If you're thinking about moving to Houston, you need to know which areas are prone to flooding. So that is tip number 3 on the cons. Now that you know some of the few pros and cons about moving to Houston, now you can be ready to make the move. Here at the Tello Group, we will be happy to assist you with your move, and we'll find you and guide you through the right places and get you to the right home so you can make Houston your next Texas town.